Right, these are the first visuals that India Today has captured of the CCTV where we can see the I-20 exploding. This is the defining moment of the terror blast where you can see the explosion happening live, which has been captured on camera. This is in the vicinity of the Red Fort area, and you can just see how many vehicles were present in that area at that moment when the blast occurred. It's not just the I-20 exploding, the impact is also huge on the nearby cars. And for more on that, Shreya, you can tell us, when we're looking at this footage, the amount of cars which are present in the area, how huge of an impact this would have, not just on the cars, the nearby localities and the shops. You've also been reporting from the ground where people have been narrating how shocking these visuals were when they saw it first.
Well, Jessica, because we have that all full screen right now where we are showing it to our viewers, the kind of impact of that blast. You can see that the nearby vehicles have also been heavily impacted. You can see portions of the vehicles which have been tossed up, and the car was actually blown into two portions. This is something eyewitness accounts have also pointed it out. And remember the kind of explosive that has been used, which is right now, even as the FSL confirms the report, being traced as an ammonium nitrate fuel oil. You can see the kind of splinters that it leaves, and all the cars nearby that immediately catches fire. And 7 fire tenders had to be stationed at the spot to douse off all those flames, and then a cooling operation took place. But that is probably the defining moment of that Delhi terror blast that India Today has accessed. And you can see how that I-20 car slowly it's moving. It's almost 650, 651 when it blows up, and it engulfs all the car near the vicinity. And the timing of it is extremely crucial, because as we constantly say, that man stayed put in that parking lot for 3 hours. What it looks right now, he probably waited till the traffic actually increases, and that's when he goes and detonates that I-20 car.
Right, you're also mentioning about the timing of when the person was waiting for, this sort of crowd to gather there, and that's when exactly he detonated this. If you could also, take us through the timeline of when this happened, and, because the call happened at around 7 p.m. And that's also one of the times when usually the roads leading up to Red Fort are also very busy. And right next to it, we have the Chandni Chowk market, which is also a very busy area. But this happened on a Monday. So if you could also sort of paint for us the timeline for what it led to what we're seeing on our screens right now.
Jessica, as all our viewers and mostly anyone in the national capital would know, this is a very busy juncture. So, just to give you a picture of it, we are at the Netaji Subhash Marg lane. When on the left lane, this is the left lane of the Netaji Subhash Marg, which is going towards Jama Masjid. You have the Red Fort on your left, and on your right hand side, you have your entry to the Chandni Chowk market. Now, the Red Fort remains closed on a Monday, and that is precisely why this man, who's actually done this entire incident in panic, because clearly this was not a part of the original plan, because his members and module members were arrested, he ran away from Faridabad. He stationed in the Red Fort parking lot, which is near the Suneri Bagh Masjid, but he knew that there was no one at the Red Fort because it was a Monday. So probably that's the reason he spent 3 hours from around 3 p.m. till this particular timeline of 6:40. He spent that entire enormous amount of time. He waited for the traffic to increase, and then he slowly moves his car, because 6:48 p.m. is when he comes out of that parking lot of the Red Fort. And in 2 minutes, when he's closing in on that traffic junction, he detonates that car. The impact of it all recorded on that CCTV camera, which shows how the car blew up in pieces, and then it engulfed the entire traffic vicinity. All the cars which were surrounded, it all got engulfed in that fire, and we can see the splinters, the kind of light emission that proves the kind of intensity of the blast. And clearly, that is the timeline. And just before reaching this particular Suneri Bagh Masjid, he'd also gone to another masjid near the Turkman Gate, which is the Faiz-e-Ilahi Masjid, where it is being believed that he probably offered his last prayers 2:30. Subsequently, he goes to the Suneri Bagh parking lot, stays there for 3 hours, waits for the traffic to increase. Then at 6:51, 6:52 is when he detonates that car. all captured on that CCTV. This CCTV will probably be the defining moment of the blast that took place, the terror blast, which now officially the Indian government has also called a terror attack, and its cabinet resolution on the same has also been passed.
Right. When we're also looking at this footage, how do you read it? Do you think it was deliberate or was it accidental? Because a lot of people were also saying that it was a Fidayeen attack. When we look at these visuals which are, coming where we can see the car blowing up, what is your reading of it?
Well, this is something that investigation will have to say, Jessica. The reason so that we always confuse between a suicide attack and a Fidayeen attack. In usual context, when a suicide bomber goes, he knows that he will have to die. He will not be escaping from that attack. When we talk about a Fidayeen attack, their mindset is usually to cause maximum damage. So how does that go? The investigators will have to see, because there's dumped data of that timeline when he was parked in that Suneri Bagh Masjid that's yet to come in, whether he was already in touch with his handlers, because we've also traced down from our investigators, sources in our investigation team in Delhi police, that they were already in touch with a handler abroad in Turkey. So did he get any call? Those dumb data are still being analyzed. Then probably we'll be able to say that whether this was a planned Fidayeen or a suicide bomb attack. But clearly, from the signs of it, he panicked when he did that. This was not part of the initial plan. That's one thing all the investigators are saying. Be the Jammu and Kashmir police that began the track down on this particular module, to the Delhi police, to the NIA. All sources are pointing it out that this was an attack in panic, because his module members were arrested. He knew no escape. That's the reason he planned this. But one thing is for sure, they did recce Red Fort prior as well. Those information are also trickling down, but there were multiple other places that were also recceed. That also can be confirmed from the amount of ammonium nitrate that was actually, tracked from them. 2,900 kgs of ammonium nitrate. This was probably a series of blasts that they wanted to carry out. That one example, we have it on our screens, and clearly it's one deadly attack that claimed so many lives, and we can see the impact of it all recorded on that camera, Jessica.
Right, but most of these victims, they only had burn injuries. There was no sharpnels which were found, and there were no sharpnels which were even found in the surrounding areas. So that somewhat tells that it was accidental, right?
Well, Jessica, that yet again needs to be understood once the FSL report comes out. Now, whether they did not get a time to actually assemble and create a more larger impact, or probably the kind of impact that we already see is in itself a huge impact, because the entire traffic juncture of that Netaji Subhash Marg came under the impact of that terror blast. And as we talk, we've already recorded at least 12 people who've died and multiple injuries. So clearly, the effect of it itself shows that it was an intense attack. Whether there were other chemicals used along with ammonium nitrate fuel oil, that is something that will come out when the FSL report comes in. So far as the fact that whether they could not foolproof make it into the device that they were looking at by attaching ball bearings and shrapnels, that is something that investigation will say. But irrespective of that, Jessica, we cannot ignore the kind of impact that the CCTV has recorded, and that does point it out, the kind of immense horror everyone in vicinity at that point of time who were present there went through.
Right, and this car was standing in the parking lot for nearly 3 hours, and it went, nobody spotted it, nobody thought that, there was anything wrong with it at that time. It was just standing in the parking lot for a long time. And what do you think is the mystery behind it, and what does it tell about also the safety of the Red Fort, because it's supposed to be one of the most, highest security zones?
Absolutely. It's one of the places where the Prime Minister delivers his speech every Independence Day. It always has a 24/7 CCTV monitoring. It's come previously under the attack of terror agencies. Remember, we've obviously seen that attack that took place during the farmer protest as well. So Red Fort is a fortified place. There's 24/7 monitoring. So definitely there's question that how did an explosive laden car first place get inside the parking lot of the Red Fort parking, which is a T5 parking near the Suneri Masjid. That's a question that needs to be investigated. And clearly, we do know that there has been some lapses on the part of the kind of coordination that should have been there, because at one time, the Jammu and Kashmir police did a spectacular job in tracking down that module. If not, we would have seen worse impact. But clearly, that one person who was absconding, Umar Mohammed, that one person that the Faridabad police and the Jammu and Kashmir police was looking in a joint operation in Faridabad, he managed to escape from Faridabad, reach the national capital, and carry out that attack. All of it, which has been recorded on the CCTV camera.
Right, this definitely raises some serious questions about the security and the lapses that we witnessed that day. Thank you so much for joining in, Shreya.